Jess reporting for Kids First, age 17, and today we are going to be talking about the British film Censor. So Censor follows the story of Enid, who is a film censor. Her job requires watching very graphic horror films and deciding what is allowed to stay in the film and what is allowed to be cut. But after a particular film reminds her of a traumatic childhood experience, she becomes convinced that the films that she reviews are in a way connected to the disappearance of her sister. So to start off, I just want to say that the atmosphere of this film is really good. This whole film has this sense of dread and uneasiness, and it feels like the whole film is taking place on an unpleasant, foggy day, and that perfectly fits with the tone and the dark subject matter. And I definitely think that's a big reason why this film works so well as a horror film. But the other big reason is the subject matter. So I find the topic of does fiction affect reality very interesting. I myself am a massive video game fan, so I've constantly had to hear people say that video games cause violence, or in this case, horror movies. And I think there is a case to be made on what consuming dark subject matter and dark media can do to a person. And I think this is a topic that should be studied more, but I also think it's just really interesting to talk about, especially given under circumstances. There's a particular scene where it's revealed that a film that Enid allowed to be released supposedly led to the murder of a mother and a child. And this is a big deal to Enid, but later we learn that the killer didn't even watch the film that is being accused of causing this crime. So you're left wondering what the truth of this case is. But unfortunately, this isn't called back to later in the film, and it's not really that important to the plot. But I want to know. I find this extremely fascinating. Something else that I find fascinating in this film is the way it connects censorship in movies to trauma. Because as previously mentioned, Enid had a traumatic experience in her childhood, but one thing that happens to a lot of trauma survivors is that their brain blocks out the memories of the event. And it does this to protect the trauma survivor. And Enid says in the film that she does her job to protect people, thus drawing a connection between this thing that the brain does and Enid's job. But you may be wondering, what exactly is her brain protecting her from? What is the truth of the situation that she can't remember? It's actually really interesting, and it took me a while to realize this, but when I did, I had a bit of a revelation moment, because I was like, this metaphor is actually really, really interesting. I should warn you though, this film does contain a few pretty graphic depictions of gore, and there's some other scenes involving violence later on in the film, so if you're squeamish to that kind of stuff, this probably won't be your cup of tea. But I would give this film 4 to 5 stars and would recommend it for ages 16 to 18, mostly because of the graphic violence. And it comes out in the States on June 11th. So, that'll be it for this Kids First review. If you like it, make sure to check out the Kids First website, and of course, all the other Kids First reporters, and I will be seeing you later. Bye-bye!